Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Good evening, my friends. This is Angy Stewart from Mia Inner Light, and we are here live on Kardec Radio. Let me actually switch this because we are live now. Let me open the comments. So, if you are new to this program, we are streaming it from YouTube into Facebook. So if you want me to see your name that you're participating, please write your name so I will be able to know that you are live here with us. So today is our first day in the new time, but we have been doing this study for quite some time. This is the book that we are studying. What is Spiritism? And this is a thin book to the based on Kardec's codification, but it's a wonderful book. It's a great book for people that does not know Spiritism because it gives you key points to make you be curious and to wish to know more about Spiritism. But it's also very, very good to people that already know Spiritism and would like to be a little bit more deep, to dig deeper in it. At this moment in time, we are actually reading the dialogue called the Critic. So let me just say hello here. Hello, Claudia Garces, my friend. Very good. So Claudia is here with us. In few minutes at 9 o'clock, we are going to start our new study that will be the God at Home, followed by meditation. Then we are going to go into a spiritual irradiation. So if you know someone who is sick, who is not feeling good, if you yourself are not feeling good right now, please join us later on, and it will be really, really good for you and for all of us, even for the people that are listening to this one recorded later on. So, hey, Michelle, nice to have you here too. Very, very good to have all the friends from New York with us online. So let's start. We don't have much time. This study is very short because we jump into the other two studies at 9 o'clock. So as every single study we always do, especially me, I like to start with a quick prayer just to connect us with the enlightened spirits and also to help us to open our minds and give us the little sparkle that sometimes we need to understand certain things that are a little bit more difficult. So, quick prayer. Dear God, our Mother and Father, at this moment that we start our study, we ask you to help us to connect with our guardian angels so we are able to enlighten our thoughts and be able to fully connect with what we are going to be reading, studying, so we will be able to understand it in a much easier way and also to put in practice all the positiveness that we will be getting from it today. Please stay with us now and always. So be it. Very good, my friends. So I will share with you my text so it's easier for you to be able to listen to my voice and also read the text. So to the ones that have never read this book before, this book is a book that gives us a full understanding of what is Spiritism, where it started, how it ended up in Europe. It went from the United States to Europe, and then talking about the turning table movement. Then long time later came Allan Kardec, who did not believe in it, who did not accept it, but finally decided to study this to see if it was something true and he should really dedicate his time to it. So we read all the biography that Angy Stewart wrote about Kardec. We finished. And now we started with the dialogue last week when Kardec is talking to the critic. So this critic is this person that does not believe in Spiritism. And this is a very common thing, even nowadays. There are people that come to us and they always say, I don't believe in it. I don't like it. This is all a bunch of lies. Why do you waste your time with it? But this person never really took time to read about it, never took time to even do a little research to understand what it is. Let me put a little bit bigger so you can see me a little bit bigger. So this person didn't spend any time doing a research, but because of whatever reason, because someone told him or her, or because he read a little comment somewhere, immediately got to the point that he or she, they are against it. So this is exactly what Kardec is facing right now. Is a person that told Kardec that does not believe in Spiritism at all, but would like to participate of one of his mediumistic meetings, one or two, he even said one or two, in order to say this is true or not. But Kardec is extremely intelligent, and he started a discussion with this person, and he started telling this person, listen, one or two meetings are not going to help you. And he tells the person, I spent few years reading deeply, researching, trying to understand what is this, to be able to start the codification of the books. How do you think just participating of a quick meetings that your mind could be changed so quickly? Basically, that's what's going on right here. So let's read. I marked the yellow portion so it can be faster. So the visitor says here, I can respect the person without having to share an opinion. That's what he's telling Kardec. I can respect you, but I don't agree with you. And this is good to most of the things. This is fine. We do not need to agree with anyone to be able to have a friend, to be respectful too. And then Kardec goes, Spiritism has taught me to place value on the petty susceptibilities of self-esteem. Offended, I do not feel offended. Like he's telling the visitor, you know, I'm over this. I'm not going to be offended with your opinion. And then he says, I prefer to leave others in their errors instead of sharing in them. So he's not going to be discussing, he's not going to try to be convincing anyone to believe or to understand the Spiritism. And then he says, I respect my time. And then he goes, because you treat Spiritism as a hollow dream, you must have said to yourself, on your way here, I'm going to see a lunatic. All Spiritists are crazy. This is all a mental illness. This is what Kardec is telling him, like thinking that's what you're thinking. And then Kardec ends saying, I don't have time to waste on pointless conversations. So this is basically Jesus told us something very, very similar when Jesus told the disciples to do not waste time with the dry land. Do not throw your seeds on dry land, because it's going to be very, very difficult for this dry land to produce fruits, to produce like the crops. So basically it's what Kardec is saying, like, I am not going to waste my time trying to convince you. So I am here trying to talk to people that are open-minded, that people that would like to understand it. But I'm not here to really try to convince anyone. Hello, Matthew, how are you? So let's continue. Then the visitor says, a person can be mistaken and deluded without being crazy because of it. So basically that's what the visitor is saying. I'm not telling you are crazy. You might be mistaken in what you are studying and what you are doing. Then Kardec said, you were saying Spiritism is a fade whose time will pass, but you must agree that a fade which has adherents in every country, which includes learned individuals of every order amongst its followers. It's not a fad. So just for you to imagine, Spiritism, Kardec codified in the 1800s. We are now in 2021. And yes, Spiritism is spread all over the globe. But then you must be saying, but it's strange. I only hear like Brazilians talking about it. Well, it is true that the majority that study it very, very deeply, they are Brazilians, like myself. And it is true also that most of these Brazilians dedicate their time to talk and to teach and to speak of Spiritism in Portuguese. That's why it is so spread among Brazilians, because very few persons dedicate their time to try to spread Spiritism in English. So I'm here. I'm one of the few that think it is so important to bring this beautiful knowledge to people that do not speak Portuguese. And there are lots of books nowadays that are translated, which helps us so much. But I also understand that people that do not speak Portuguese, it's much more difficult to see a lecture or to follow a study reading subtitles. So that's why it's so important for people that are able to speak English, even if it's not perfect, to be able to bring this knowledge to our brothers and sisters from other languages, from other countries. This is actually a blessing. And I'm so happy to be able to be here with you. And please spread this to all your brothers, sisters, and friends that would like to know a little bit more about these beautiful teachings of Spiritism and do not speak Portuguese. So Kardec continues. Did I read this? You're saying Spiritism? Yes, I read that. So the visitor continues. I must confess that I plan to publish a book which I propose to demonstrate ex professo. That's a Latin expression, ex professo. Ex professo meaning I'm going to write a book with my expertise on it, meaning I know a lot about it. And that's why I plan on writing a book on certain subject. And then he goes, what I regard as an error. So he's saying that he's going to publish a book on Spiritism because he thinks Spiritism is a mistake. The book would have a far-reaching impact and deal a blow to spirits. But if I were to be convinced otherwise, I won't publish it. So basically, he is telling Kardec, listen, if I write this book, it's going to be a big problem for you. So I think it's actually good for you, Kardec, to allow me to participate of these 2 meetings that I'm asking for, because it would be better for Spiritism in general. Then Kardec says, I would feel awful if I were to deprive you of the profits from a book. So Kardec is saying, no, please write your book. This is good. This is important. You are going to make profit of it. I don't want to be the problem for you. And then he says, it will serve to publicize and advertise us. When something is attacked, attention is drawn to it. There are a lot of people who like to see its pros and cons, and criticism makes it known to those who hadn't even thought about it. So this is an interesting point for us, because everybody is afraid to say something and to be criticized on it. And unfortunately nowadays, because of social media, every single person on earth became an expert in certain subjects. And it can be politics, it can be soccer, it can be religion, it can be anything. Nowadays there are millions of experts on everything. What is bad? Because it's not true. Just because I like pink, I cannot say black is a horrific color, because it's not. It's actually a beautiful color depending of the occasion. And it's my personal opinion, is not something that I studied and I was able to prove this is right or this is wrong. So we have to be careful. But when something is like a scientific done, then we have specialists in certain things that they will be critiquing. I think they would be demonstrating some knowledge on certain things, and they will be analyzing the pros and cons on certain things. But they need to know deeply what they are analyzing. For example, a chemist can be analyzing some type of chemical formula, some type of chemical thing that was just discovered. But if I am a history teacher, how I'm going to analyze some chemical thing that was just discovered? I can't because I have no expertise or need. So that's what Kardec is telling him. Another thing is that Kardec already had experience on it, because we know in Barcelona, when his books were shipped from France to Spain, and they were burned because of the Inquisition of that time. All his books were burned. 300 books on Spiritism were burned. And then what happened? What happened is that everyone learned about that. They all heard, wow, there were 300 books on this thing called the Spiritism that were burned, and the church forbade it. We cannot have access to it. And what happened? When anything is forbidden, everybody gets like desperate to touch it and to discover it. And that's exactly what happened. So with the burning of the books by the Inquisition in Barcelona, made that much more people got interested trying to discover what was that. So actually the thing that was supposed to be really bad became really good. So Kardec is telling him, don't worry, because criticism is actually good, because it brings publicity. It brings people that they don't want to attack, but they wanted to deeply understand why it's being attacked. So that's what he's saying. So hello, Carmen Santiago. Nice to have you here with us. Hello, Nora Brazil, my friend. I hope your tests were really good. And we have Matthew saying reverse psychology. Exactly, Matthew. This is what Kardec was saying. This is good. This is reverse psychology, how it works. So let's continue. And then the visitor said, so in your opinion, criticism is useless and the public opinion doesn't count? And Kardec says, I don't regard criticism as an expression of public opinion, but as a personal opinion, and it might be mistaken. And then he continues, how many masterpieces were criticized when they first appeared? And it's true. How many famous paintings only got famous after the painter himself had died? We know that. And then he continues, if Spiritism is an error, it will fall by itself. If it is a truth, all the diatribes in the world will not render it a lie. So he was telling him, I do not worry. If it's bad, it will disappear. But if it's good, it will flourish. But I have forgotten that you are going to treat the issue ex professor, which means that you have studied it from every angle, that you have seen all there is to see and have read everything that has been written on the matter. So he's telling him, I forgot that you were going to write a book as a professional. as a very experienced learner in Spiritism. And then he continues, because only one who has done all those things has the right to say that he speaks with full knowledge of facts. What would you think of a critic of a literary work, but who had no knowledge of literature? And it's true, how someone can critique literature works if he has no experience, no expertise on it. Critics must understand, not superficially, but in depth, what they are discussing. Otherwise, their opinion is worthless. So he's telling the visitor basically, listen, your opinion will not be important because you are not an expert on spiritism. And then he says, since you know nothing about spiritism, your opinion will not be valuable. And to conclude, either that the people will conclude that either you are not serious or that you are acting in bad faith. So this is very interesting. So this demonstrates to us how people that like to attack certain things, they do. And bring us to nowadays, that so many people, they attack certain things and they don't really have a lot of knowledge of what it is. They say, oh no, because that person said so, or because of it said so. And when you dig a little bit deeper and you're like, but what was exactly said, the person usually, they don't know how to answer. They are like, um uh, I don't really know details, but my friend is an expert, and my friend, and my friend, and my friend. And this happens a lot, not just with philosophies of life, not just with spiritism, but with so many other things. We have seen so many people fighting in the internet because of politics, because of different opinions, because of um, the Black Lives Matter, Gay Lives Matter, and oh no, all lives matter. And then no, Black Lives Matter. Well, yeah, maybe, but all lives matter. It's a very difficult discussion, and it is a pointless for us to fight with other people that have their mind set, because they did not dig deeply on it. They just heard someone and they decided to choose that side. So let's do like Kardec. Let's not waste our time with people that are like that, but people that really would like to understand about something, about our opinions in certain things. Then it would be a blessing. It would be a blessing to have a conversation. I know in English, discussion doesn't mean a fight. It means a conversation with a deep knowledge. But in Portuguese, for example, discussion, discussão, most of the time connects with disagreements, and it's not what we want. We want to have a conversation about anything. But of course, these two people that will have a conversation, the first thing they need to know and they have to act is to respect the other person's opinion, even if the opinion is absolutely against his or hers. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult because we always know that we are right. Yes, sometimes we are right, but sometimes we are not. And we have to admit when we are wrong, and we have to learn and to apologize about whatever is the situation. So, my friends, in 5 minutes, we start a new program that will be called God at Home. So, God at Home will be really this study that will help us to understand how to make this God at home, or this gospel at home, in our own house, with our family, or by ourselves. So I would like to invite you to join us in 5 minutes to do the God at home. We will have a very short meditation, and then we will have the spiritual irradiation, where we will be connected as a boomerang of love and light, spreading good vibrations to our friends, our family, and people around that are sick, that are not feeling good physically or spiritually, or even ourselves, because sometimes we are not in our best days. So it's always wonderful that when we can be together with other people, joining in this loving light and spreading the light to the others. So, my friends, I will see you in a few minutes. I will do a quick prayer and I will jump to the next program. Dear God, thank you so much for bringing us together here, helping us to continue this study, opening our eyes to understand a little bit deeper about all the difficulties that Kardec faced and connecting to our daily lives. And please help us to be able to return again next week and continue open up our minds, our understanding, and practicing goodness. Thank you. So be it. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Hello, Yari. Too bad you just arrived. We are finishing, but in 5 minutes we start again our new show, God at Home and Spiritual Radiation. See you in a few minutes. Thank you, my friends. Bye-bye.